listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's The Glass House After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's The Glass House After Show.
Hey, what's up, AfterBuzz TV fans? You are... I just totally blanked out. Bingers for doing it. We are doing The Glass House, the new drama on ABC. I'm Bamm Ericsen, and my other host is...
Hey, everybody. I'm Derrial Christon.
And so, yeah, second episode of Glass House.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. So what did you think? There was a cliffhanger of, will Mike stay or will he go? We already knew that Jacob had quit.
Yeah, for mysterious reasons that we still are going to find out. But that whole Alex thing was... it was like nail biting. You know what I mean? I didn't really know where it was going to end up today. So
I knew.
You did?
Yeah.
See, I don't know.
I went online, and when I went online and I was doing some of the voting, I had already saw that he was X'd out. So I was like, yes.
Well, did they X him out though because he was in the limbo? You know what I mean? Because I thought that when I saw them online, they both were there at that point. Like it was both he and Jacob with X's on their faces, and then tonight was just going to be the determining factor.
Well, I felt better seeing his X.
Oh, okay,
so
I understand.
I felt better.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was, like I was saying, nail biting because I didn't know how far America was going to vote for him. I like I said last week, I like Alex. I thought that I like a good villain sometimes. Now, I think he took it too far. And clearly America thought the same thing.
Right.
I saw one of the tweets that came on the screen that said, is it villain versus him just being plain mean? And I have to say that he probably took it to a mean level. I mean, he was making fun of all the girls, calling them fat, playing the head games, which I like a good head game. But I do think theoretically that he took it too far. I mean, there is a difference between being strategic and being just cold mean, and he crossed the mean part.
I thought he was totally mean. I wouldn't even say that he was a villain. And what made him such a punk to me was he attacked all the women.
Yeah.
When he had the conversation with Kevin last week, Kevin basically basically just told him, hey, you're acting like a punk. You need to sit down. And not once, although he didn't get the vote of yes, he should be the villain, but I just felt like he completely attacked the girls.
Yeah. And
that just showed his character.
Yeah, I mean, it did. I mean, like I said, I think that when you're playing this game, there is an element where you need to be thicker skinned, and everybody has to realize that they are playing a game because for some reason, it seems like with all these reality shows, a lot of times there is that strong percentage of people who think that they're going to be friends with these people on the show and that, they start to trust people. And I'm like, come on now, get your head in the game. I mean, Alex, like I said, he was way too far with what he did, but at the end of the day, he was playing the game. Now, the mid-America person who's watching him obviously thought he was going too far with it, but he was playing a game, and his mind was in the game the entire time. So it's like a bittersweet kind of departure for me with him because, yes, like I said, I thought he was mean, but
I don't think
I like a villain.
For me, I don't feel like he was really playing a game. I felt like he was on TV to be seen and to be noticed, to get attention, and he just attacked the girls. Like, what kind of strategy were you going to play, being that you have all of these women, you're going to dog and talk about all of these women, and there are probably half of the viewers are going to be women. So
True.
How are you playing a game and you're being strategic, but yet you're going to dog every girl that's on the show and call her fat?
Yeah, I mean, he hit below the belt.
Yeah.
And I mean, I agree.
So I think he got what he deserved. But what was really interesting was the team members it felt like an eternity. It was like the first 10 minutes of the show where we were trying to where they were trying to find out, are they coming back? Who's coming back?
Yeah.
And then they finally announced that Jacob had quit for whatever reasons. What do you think? Why do you think he quit?
Jacob, he was so gun-ho last week and energetic that I liked Jacob. It was weird because he had this self-confidence, but then towards the end it almost seemed like he didn't have confidence because he knew he had the physicality to conquer things with the game, but I don't think he thought he was the smartest cookie. And I didn't know if that was his game playing or if that's really how he felt. But clearly it might have been how he really felt because there's no reason why he should have quit the game when you're that close. I mean, theoretically, he obviously what we've seen, he would have been sent back, versus Alex.
I don't know why he quit. I think it was silly for him to quit, being that America was voting, and so I think he would have easily gone home, but he's not. So let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, hey, now there's two. You know, it's like who's going to be the next villain?
And so now there was this whole dramatic thing. Will he stay or will they vote for him? And so I love the whole dynamics of like the little glass house and how they're in those little
the smoke,
the little smoke.
Yeah,
and then so they determine if the door opens, then he comes in.
Yeah.
If the door does not open, then that means America didn't vote him.
Right.
So he starts to go down the little, whatever you want to call that little thing,
it's whatever you call that thing.
So they go down and then the house is ecstatic, they're happy, they're excited, so he's gone.
Well, I also like the way they kind of played it at the beginning too, because he comes up right with the smoke. So you notice the cast was kind of gasping because they were like, "Oh man, is this guy staying?" And then all of a sudden, it's like, ABC's like, this guy's going back down. So I like that they kind of teased us a little bit with that whole play out of how Alex exited the game.
Yeah, I agree. And then so once he's gone, then we kind of see how some of the alliances start to form, particularly with Mike and Kevin.
Yeah.
And so Mike is the older guy and Kevin is the cop.
Yeah. Mike's I like Mike. He's the bar mitzvah DJ.
The bar mitzvah DJ.
He's got a lot of energy, that Mike. Yeah, I mean, you saw that quickly. I mean, I had, from last week, I mentioned that Kevin, I like Kevin, and I think I even pegged him to go pretty far in the game. Only thing that I had a problem with was him overreacting a little bit with some of the things that Alex did. But I think Kevin is a smart guy, and I think Mike's a smart guy. So those two alliancing themselves together, I think, is a smart move as a whole for the game. Now we also, sorry, go ahead.
And then how they approached Apollo as well.
How they approached Apollo. I'm on the fence about Apollo still. Apollo's a little bit too granola for me right now, with picking the whole cards to...
He's too granola? What does that mean?
Like he's just like that guy. I feel like he walks around with no shoes on, just the way he just even plays the game with, hey, I'm going to have... the future of your playing, your future is picked from a card. I mean, it's like he's not making a decision. It's
like, what the hell?
Yeah, he's like a card reader. I don't know. I'm on the fence about him, but he showed me a different side today, which we'll get into a little bit later. But as far as then there's the other alliance between, it looked like Robin and Erica.
Well, before we get into that, because that's a whole ordeal. Once that alliance started to form, then there was a whole thing with the voting. So then they found out they found out how everyone else was voted.
Right.
And so Ashley was voted once, Erica had 2 votes, and then Alex had the majority of the votes.
Alex had the majority of the votes.
And what I found very interesting was that what's the big guy's name?
Gene.
No, not the other one. The
Jeffrey.
Yes. So Jeffrey at the dinner table had wanted to find out. Well, everyone voted for Alex. There was 1 vote for Ashley, and then they already knew that Apollo had already voted Eric in because he picked the stupid card.
Right.
So now everyone was curious. Well, who
did the other vote?
Right. They didn't question who voted for Ashley.
Right.
But they were really stuck on who voted for Erica. And so what I found really interesting was, what's the big dude's name again? Jeffrey. Jeffrey asked Holly straight up, "Did you vote?" And she lied, and she said no.
Yeah, but you know what? I might have lied too.
I would have too.
I mean, come on. First of all, once again, it's a game. You're not going to put all your cards out there. You don't want everybody to know everything you're doing. I personally don't even think that Holly should have actually said that she was the one who voted Erica in, because you're going to become the target. And it's exactly what happened. She became the target.
So she lied at the dinner table, and she, with a very bold face, she said no, she didn't vote.
But not a convincing lie.
Yeah. And then she goes, while they're in the kitchen, washing dishes, then she goes to Erica and she whispers, I voted for you, but, I forgot, what was her reasoning for why she did it?
I mean, she basically was just saying that, it was a quick decision. It was no ill feelings or ill meaning towards Erica about it. But once again, she shouldn't have even have told her. I mean, I knew that reaction was going to come from Erica the minute she told her that. Right,
and Erica was like, you know what? I don't want to hear it. I'm done.
Be gone. Deuces. You get the double deuces.
Yeah.
Peace. So, yeah, I mean, she became a walking target a little bit, Holly, but I kind of like Holly a little bit, even though she can't get her stories together, but I kind of like Holly a little bit. Oh, you're rolling your eyes, Bamm. What does that mean?
I'm rolling my eyes because I didn't know how to feel once she admitted that she lied to Erica. It just seemed like everybody started to gun for her. And now we go to them sitting on the sofa when Robin is having a conversation with Joy about they're not sure how to believe. Holly and her stories.
Yeah.
And it all came with the whole her being art
history major.
Yeah.
That's where it started.
That's where it started.
Seemed like there was some false statements that Holly had made that it was kind of being questioned by those two.
And Robin, being the older person, she was like, I kind of wonder, because when I asked her who
was her favorite artist,
she couldn't come up with anything.
Yeah. And then so then they basically come down to the wire, and she admits that, hey, I wasn't an art history major. I'm really a psychology major, right? Or psychology. And
so Erica was already like, oh, okay, chick is lying,
Right. Yeah. So she's already player hating on her anyway because of the fact that she voted her in.
But it was just a coincidence that just as they are having the conversation, that Robin and Joy are having the conversation, that she walks in.
She does walk in.
She walks in timing. Like, dummy, you should have never, because they really went after her, because then she couldn't answer the whole art thing. And then she says that, I'm really a psychology major, and that she don't want to. And then they question that. Yeah. But this was a funny thing. So they asked her, what is the biggest paper that she's written?
Right. They asked her what the biggest paper she was written, and she couldn't come up with an answer.
She couldn't come up with anything.
And okay, I don't, listen. I can remember everything. I can remember stuff from high school. So, not everything, but I can remember a lot of things. I can remember papers I wrote in high school. So that.
Okay, I can't. So at that point, I understood her, because if you ask me, I was just in grad school a couple years ago. I can't remember half of the papers.
Come on, man. All those years of history of studying and grad school, there's not one person, if somebody put you on the spot.
I remember my thesis, but I don't. Dude, we wrote papers every week. We read like literally books. We had to read like full books in 1 week, and then we had to write a paper. And I didn't, of course, read the whole book. I read what I had to read, and then I had to write the paper. So I don't remember all of the papers that I wrote. I remember my thesis, but you can remember all of your papers?
No, not all. I'm not saying all, but I am saying I can't remember some of the papers I did.
Okay, so what's the first essay that you ever written in junior high?
The first essay I ever read. See, you're asking very specific, but if you ask me what I wrote, like if I wrote something I wrote about in junior high, I can answer that question. I know I wrote about Huckleberry Finn in junior high.
I remember the Bridge to Terabithia.
I remember in high school.
The To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird, exactly. I remember in high school I wrote about Macbeth. She couldn't name one thing. Like, she couldn't even give you a little part of a word. You know what I mean? So it was a little shady on Holly's part.
So I felt sorry for her at that point, because I was like, well, God, I can't remember. But then when they asked her the other question about name a doctor that she studied in college,
said Dr. Phil.
The child said Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, everybody. All right.
And after that, I was like, you're done.
Yeah, and then they even gave her a third chance. They said, okay, no, sweetie, darling, not Dr. Phil. Can you name someone who, you don't watch on television, someone that you maybe wrote a paper about or studied, or, you really followed? And she couldn't name a person. One person. Now that's 3 strikes and you're out.
And what's so funny about it is that in her confessional, she kept saying, I'm a psychology major and I'm purposely keeping this a secret because if people know that I'm a psychology major, then they're going to look at me different and they're going to know that I'm strategizing the game. And
so now let me ask you this. So do you think now we know she's not a art history major? I'm sketchy about the psychology. What do you think that she really is? Do you think that what is her career?
I don't think she went to college.
She might be the stripper.
She right. I was gonna say that, but that may sound mean coming. But I don't know. I mean, she should have picked something simple like an theater arts major or communications or something. She should have picked something a little more simple so she can keep her story straight.
Yeah, she should pick something that she was comfortable with lying about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Because clearly it doesn't work for the other 2. So, you know, I don't know. Holly's gonna be an interesting character as well because they are gunning for her.
Absolutely.
Gunning for her hard. And then, so we have that alliance. So we have the Mike and Kevin, we have Robin and Erica, and then we have Gene with Apollo. But that alliance turned a little crazy at the end there too, which we'll get into a little bit later. But, you know, Apollo, I think he saw Gene as kind of like this nice guy. Gene's the stunt guy. You know, I think he felt comfortable with him. You know, and Gene seems to be like the guy that everybody's going to like in this game. But Apollo is still a little bit flaky to me. I mean, as we were talking about the whole card thing, do you think that it was a smart alliance for him to associate himself with, or I should say for Gene to associate himself with Apollo?
No.
No, okay. Why not?
Apollo's, his whole demeanor has changed now that he is in the bottom 2. So let's also, before we go into that, let's go into Amazon.
Okay. Well, that's a great topic to talk about because before you go and shop on Amazon and pick out all these great items, go to AfterBuzzTV.com, click on the Amazon banner, and shop through that particular banner because you can find anything you want from CDs to clothing to whatever you want to find for your special friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, best friend, whatever it may be. Go to AfterBuzzTV.com, click on the banner for Amazon, and do all of your shopping. We love this very much because we get a little bit of kickback. No money, but we do get a kickback, and it lets us continue to do what we're doing tonight, which is give you great recap shows each night and every week. So please, when you go do your shopping for Amazon.com, click on go to AfterBuzzTV.com first, click on the Amazon banner, and do all your shopping there, and we'll get a little kickback and continue these great programming. And the applause.
And let's kick right on back.
Right on back.
So the viewers, they get the last 2. It's the votes.
Right.
We get the last. We get the least votes. And so, and with that being said, those 2 names, these people have to be captains. And so, and then from there, whoever gets after they get the least of votes, whoever loses will have to now go into the limbo. And
right.
So the 2 people, it came down to Apollo and it came down to Ashley.
Yes.
Okay. So it came down to Apollo and Ashley. And so now they had to pick their teams. And I thought Gene had a very good way of saying how you should pick your team.
Right.
And go ahead.
Oh, well, no, I was going to kind of say what his strategy was, which was basically to pick the players that you think you can beat at the end if you lose as the team captain. So as he's looking through those, you know, all of his cast members, he's trying to pick the people like at the end that, you know, theoretically he could beat. I think that was a smart move on Gene to say that because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the truth. I mean, you want to be able to have people on your team that you probably know that at the end you can kick them off. So yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with Gene on that strategy. I think it was going to work out initially for Apollo. Yeah.
And so when the teams were picked, then there was the whole challenge.
Right.
And so the challenge was called Ruffle Your Tail Feathers.
Ruffle Your Tail Feathers. And it was all about harnessing in the air, being on the bird, throwing the eggs down into the different baskets.
Of the glass windows, and they had to break the glass windows.
Yeah.
And then, so what do you think about Ashley's team? Because she went first.
Well, personally, I thought that Ashley had the stronger team.
I did too.
I mean, as far as the brainchilds, I think, of the cast. but she wasn't accessible to the conversation that Apollo had, obviously, with Gene about picking people on your team that won't necessarily be the demise of you at the end. But I think that she played the game smart. She's like, listen, let me get the smart people who I think are the smarter people or the leaders in the cast. And
do you think she really had a strategy, or do you think she was just picking the people that she was comfortable with?
I think Ashley's smarter than what we're giving her credit for. I think that she probably picked a little bit of knowledge based off of who she thought were smarter players. I don't think she just flew by night on her, just picked random players. I think that she had a little strategy behind herself.
And for me, they work better as a team. Kevin obviously had the experience, so Kevin just kind of stepped in, and Ashley allowed him to do that, and they were able to immediately work. And one of the things that I also liked was when they were throwing, when Kevin was grabbing the eggs and then he was throwing them in, you could see the names on the eggs, and then you could toss them into various things. Right. There was a money that was $1,000. There was blow a certain amount of balloons.
It was blow balloons. It was I think it was peel 200 eggs.
Eggs, yeah.
And a couple other things that were there.
Right, which means whoever's name was in there, they would have to do those things. Right. And so Kevin could have easily saw the name and was like, okay, I don't like this person, I'm going to throw you in here. But he didn't really look at the names. He just wanted to help Ashley win. Yeah. And they also wanted her to get the $1,000. So they purposely put her name. Because it was her birthday. So they purposely wanted to put her name into the $1,000. And to me, it wasn't about me. It was about them as a team, because they knew that if they win, they don't have anything to worry about.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they played it smart, Now, what do you feel about the other team, about Apollo's team, and then the whole controversy of Gene in throwing the game, or allegedly throwing the game, based off of Apollo's response? This
is what I think. None of them couldn't catch nothing. They were all dropping balls. They were all dropping. When Mike was being thrown the balls, they were touching his hand. Anyone who plays sports, have you ever played sports? Yeah. All right. Anyone who plays sports, particularly football, we coaches always say, if it touches your hand, you can catch the ball. Right. And so it touched Mike's hands, he dropped it. It touched Gene's hands, he dropped it. So for them to blame Gene and try to say that he threw the challenge, they all sucked. They were all dropping the eggs.
Now, I agree, but it did seem like Gene was dropping a little bit of extra eggs at the beginning. I mean, it did make me question a little bit once Apollo said, is this guy throwing the game? It did make me kind of question it. I'm not going to lie, because he was throwing so many dropping so many eggs at the beginning. I mean, this is a big dude. I mean, he looks like he's a pretty tall dude. He's athletic. He's a stunt man. I mean, you can't catch.
He doesn't look athletic to me, but he's a big guy. But okay, with him being a big guy, all 300 plus pounds or how much ever he weighs, he's on that big harness, which the person below him has to move him. No one ever questioned come on. You can't tell me that they were not struggling with the harness, with the rope.
Yeah, because they had.
No one questioned that.
I'll give you that.
Thank you.
I'll give you that, Bamm. I'll give you that one. But it's still, I still was a little bit wondering if maybe he was throwing it at the beginning. For some reason, I thought at the end we were going to find out that he was going to pop on the screen and say, "Okay, America, you wanted me to throw a challenge. That's what you voted me to do." I was expecting that for some reason.
He seems genuine. He seems very honest. And I do respect the fact that once he knew that people were throwing his name out there, he called a team meeting. He wasn't loud. He didn't have an attitude. He said, I would like to know how people feel about me, whether if you're on my team or not. I want you to say what you have to say, and we can, nip this in the bud. And so I respected him. I honestly feel like I don't think he threw the challenge.
Okay. I mean, now I don't necessarily. But at the beginning, I did. I'm going to stick to that. Okay. At the beginning of it, I did think he was throwing the challenge when it was put in my head, and the way that he was dropping that ball. The eggs. I just really felt like maybe there was something shady going on. But once he sat the team down and talked to them, and you can feel people's energy when you really watch them, I felt that he probably was telling the truth, but not initially.
For me, you can completely tell Apollo's disposition changed.
I agree. He got paranoid.
For the man who votes based off of a card, now he was attacking Apollo.
He was.
he was attacking Apollo, and then he asked the viewers. Would you vote me off if I change if my strategy changed a little bit?
Yeah.
Answer, Stephanie means yes, Gene means no.
Gene means no.
So for me, he became the, what you call him, the granola.
Oh, granola.
He went from granola to bum in one show.
Yeah.
He was totally now all of a sudden when he wants to change the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna affect him, and I think he will be voted off.
Yeah, I think that he has a strong chance of that. But listen, at the end of the day, let's put ourselves in this situation. If I was there and all of a sudden, you know, I'm thinking that possibly this guy on my team is throwing the challenge, even though he's saying he's not, and then I got all this pressure on me and I don't want to leave the game, you know, that's when people start, you know, they start pulling stuff out of the air. You know, that's when you start to see how people's characters really are and who they really are. So we're seeing, you know, he was all at the beginning, you know, oh, I'm just going to pull this card out and this predicts the future.
And with that being said, Gene's character never changed.
You're right. I'll give you that. Yep, you're right. Gene's character never changed, but Apollo's character is starting to change a little bit. You see, he's starting to the breakdown is starting to happen. You know, so. But that tends to happen when you get all that pressure on you.
Yeah,
you don't want to leave
pressure.
the game, you know. So I would probably be the same way. No, but
and so the time came, and so Ashley had her time was for the challenge was 3 minutes and 48 seconds, and then Apollo's was 5:54.
5:54.
And then so of course Apollo is the one who's going in. So now they have to vote.
They have to vote in. So, and it looks like well. We know who's going in, and we knew who was going to. I knew who was going to go in before that. I mean, it's Holly going in against him, but I figured that was going to be the case, just the way that everybody was kind of ganging up on her anyway. And she, you know, she was inconsistent with her telling of the story of her degrees and where she came from.
Did we talk about the confronting?
No. Well, we did a little bit as far as Robin and Erica confronting her. Yes, we did a little bit.
Okay.
But we did not talk about, let's see here. I had a question about how they were questioning Holly as far as what do you think next week? How do you think with the questioning, do you think that they trust her anymore?
The fans, the
Yeah,
viewers?
the fans.
No.
You don't?
I don't.
Do you think that by her not being able to pull those answers out of the hat that she won't be able to sustain that next week?
Well, it depends because we have two people who have changed, who their personas have changed. You have Holly the liar, who we already knew that she was lying about her being an art history major because she was a psychologist. We already knew that, but she's lying about that. So she's lying about that, and then Apollo went from he's going to pick a card, and so that's how he's going to vote for people, and now he's ganging up on somebody because he knows that he's getting ready to go home. So I think it's a matter of who the audience can't trust.
Okay.
And so who would you vote for?
I mean, honestly, right now, I would probably vote for Apollo to go off just because I feel like I want to give Holly another chance. Okay, I think Holly's cute, all right? I'll admit it. I think Holly's cute, and I think that I want to know who she really is, and I haven't seen that yet, and I don't know if she's just playing the game, so it makes me intrigued to kind of find out, okay, what is her degree? What's her background? Who is she really? Apollo, I feel like I know who he is right now. You know, he's the card guy who has lost his burn and now is scrambling and paranoid. You know, but I don't know yet what Holly's going to give me. So that's why I kind of want her to stay.
I think you want her to stay because you think she's cute, bottom line. For me, I don't care what her degree is. I don't care about any of that. I just, if I had to vote between the two, it would be Apollo.
Okay, so same vote.
I will vote for Apollo. But as far as Holly's concerned, I don't really care one way or the other if she's a art major or history. I don't care what she is. But if she doesn't get it together, then she's next.
She will be next.
But for me, my vote will be Apollo.
Okay. Well, we're on the same vote at least.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's half the battle.
Yes,
we're on the same
right.
team.
Just a couple funny things that I thought was I thought that when they were having the team meeting, how Andrea kept blowing her balloons because everybody had the challenge of what if their name was within a glass house, they had to do certain things.
Yeah.
And so Andrea, she's just blowing up her balloons the whole time, just being completely amused at this team meeting, and she didn't say anything, and she's just blowing her balloons. Just blowing her balloons.
She was. I think she was trying to stay underneath the radar as well.
Yeah.
You know. Now I kind of want to go back a little bit with the game that they were playing with the game where they were flying in the bird. Now they were supposed to throw in all those balls into the 6 boxes, right? That America had voted different things on to those boxes, like little statements.
Yeah, I was confused with that as well.
Yeah, like how many I keep saying balls. How many eggs did they have to start with?
Right, because there was a whole batch of balls with names, and I remember Andrea saying that she was going to take her name
and put it in the front.
And she was going to take her name and put it in front along with Ashley's, because she wanted to play fair. But if you think about it, if it's only Ashley's and her name, then of course Ashley's getting the money, but she's now it makes sense, because it makes sense that she was putting her name there not to be a selfish player, because she would have to be the one who would have to blow the balloons or do the eggs or whatever it is.
So because it was her birthday, she was saying, okay, we'll throw you a carrot. Basically, you get to get this $1,000 or whatever it may be.
But it wasn't explained how many eggs total needed to be within the glasses, within the little glass houses.
Right, because I remember Gene said something when they were getting on him about possibly tossing the game. He said, I missed 2, and I think there were 2 that were dropped by somebody else, so that made it 10 at that time. But I was trying to figure out if there were more eggs than that, or if there was like maybe 2 eggs per cast member.
Yeah, because would it be 12? Like that wasn't clear. So I hope that the other challenges are a little more clear, because I know that there were other people who were a little confused with how the game goes.
How the game is played.
Now, what did you think about the challenge itself? Did you think it was kind of corny? Did you think it should be more of a challenge?
You know what? I kind of like the challenges, honestly. I was mentioning this last week because it kind of combines a variety of different things. You have to be smart and you also have to have some physical power too. I mean, to get up on those harnesses and trying to throw balls or eggs at the same time is not the easiest thing. I do realize that. As someone is pulling you from the bottom and who's probably weighs basically 50 to 100 pounds less than you do. So, I mean, I like the aspect that they get these kind of puzzle slash little bit of almost like the MTV Gauntlet kind of style of puzzle games. I like that part about it. I mean, it keeps it entertaining, and you just never really know what the audience is going to request or ask them to do. So it's kind of like combining both of those things all together.
And that's another thing that I find very interesting is when you go online to abc.com and you go to the Glass House show, there's many things. There's the cast and there's the bios, but there's a thing where you can view and vote. And so there's a series of questions that you can pick. And there's random questions like, what do you want to see in this particular challenge? Do you want to see? And then it gives you 3 different choices. And so there's like, I don't know, before I got here, I voted for probably like 20 of them. But I didn't really know why I was voting for it. And then once I saw today's show, then it makes sense. So within all of those challenges, even though you win, if your name is if your name is put into one of the glass house boxes, that's something that you'll have to do. And so did you vote for any of those?
I voted, but they probably would never air any of my votes because of the things that I was asking them to do.
like what?
I said stuff like I want to see Joy and Holly kiss. I said that people should probably sleep in the beds together. Mine were a little bit more filthier, I think. I'll have to I need to make mine more G-rated probably for ABC.
I didn't see those. I missed it.
Oh, you missed the...
I missed that vote. The only votes that I was given was on the far left corner.
Oh no, there was a section there you could actually make up your own votes as well. So I clicked in my own little things there.
Speaking of sections and clicking and things like that, you guys need to go to iTunes.com and you guys need to make sure that you rate and comment all the shows such as The Glass House and what are you on? The other one you're on Forbidden Skies?
Oh, Falling Skies, TNT's Falling Skies, which is Sunday
Empire
night.
Girls, Scandal,
and then Thursday
True
nights
Blood.
anger management with Charlie Sheen.
So yes, please go to iTunes. Go to iTunes. You can download all of the AfterBuzz shows for free. So please go rate and comment, and please tell a friend. Okay.
Thank you. And the applause.
All right.
I love the applause.
So, anything else you want to talk about before we go into news and gossip and all the other stuff? The votes.
The votes, but I guess you want to do that after news and gossip. Maybe give a couple facts about the what's going on with the viewership and everything.
Well, let's do the vote, and then we'll do commercial, and then we'll go into the news and gossip.
Okay.
Okay. So the vote. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, so voting, we obviously saw that Holly's going against Apollo next week. So who do you think is going to come back?
Well, before that, what I don't like about the voting, and I'll answer your question, is we only see what some of the players vote for. We don't get to see everyone that they vote for. So like we saw Erica vote for Holly, we saw Holly vote for Erica, we saw Jeffrey vote for Holly, and we saw Jean vote for Holly. But we didn't get to see what everyone else voted for.
Right.
And so I wish that we could see who's voting for everyone so that we can, I
agree. I guess they do that on purpose.
They do it on purpose, yeah.
You know, obviously, they want to keep a little bit of suspense going on, so we don't know what's really going to happen next week. But I mean, I pretty much knew that they were going to be gunning for Holly as it was. So I mean, it wasn't a huge surprise. But yeah, I agree with you. I would like to see a little.
But
bit
why
more.
would Jean vote for Holly?
Well, maybe that. I mean, I think they were making fun of Holly. Remember when he was talking about when she was talking to Ashley outside, and Jean was doing that little mock talk about what he thought they were saying outside, and he was making fun of her saying stuff like she's so pretty, or all superficial things. I think that I
thought that was a little out of character for him because he's Mr. Nice, bubbly person, but that was a little out of character for him. I felt.
Yeah, well, you think that he's Mr. Nice Guy. I still don't believe it yet. I'm not sold on that part.
Well, maybe because he's not coming off as angry black man. I don't know, but he speaks. There's something genuine that I like about him.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's got that Midwest kind of thing going on, but I still have to see more from him as well. But as far as the voting,
to answer your question, I think it's Apollo.
You think it's Apollo? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we both think that it's Apollo.
We both think it's Apollo. Yeah.
Now, do you think any of them are going to be silly and like quit, like Jacob?
I hope not. I mean, I don't think so. Not this week. If anybody would, I'd say it was Joy. That would have been. But I think that it's. Yeah. I think she's better this week.
Yeah,
she was a little bit better this week.
But she was in the beginning before she knew if Mike was coming back. She kept crying.
She got emotional.
My mother's gonna see this, and I don't want my mother to see the people are talking about. Oh, yeah. Shut up.
But see, now that I'm questioning everything, I'm starting to wonder if Joy is playing a game, and that's her game. Maybe it's her game to get the sympathy vote from America. You know what I mean? Like. That's and even from the cast, like, oh, let's not worry about Joy.
Yeah,
she's
because
sweet.
the girls are completely falling for it.
Yeah,
and then of course Gene just wants to, he wants some love.
He wants some love. He's gunning for several of those women. I'm not mad at Gene though. Listen, you're in that house. You might as well. Most of the time.
And speaking of the glass house, before we go to commercial break, I still would like to see more of action in the glass house. Again, like I said, this may be gross, but I want to see if someone's sitting on the toilet. I want to see multiple things in the glass house all at one time. I want to see what's going on. Right now it's too nice. It's too, I want to see more. I want to see more action. I want to see what's going on because it is a glass house.
So you want to see some nudity. You want to see some
I mean, you think that
toilet action, you want to see some showers going on.
You think Holly's hot. So, I mean, do you not want to see it
I
as
definitely
well?
do. I'm with you.
Yeah. So,
I said last week, I was like, I'm ready for, someone to do a little dump in the toilet. I'm not afraid of it. So I don't need to see everything, but I need, I mean, outside of the challenges, we know they got drama already. I'm ready for it to get full into gear.
Well, speaking of dump, we're going to go and take a break while some of you guys may go get some snacks or,
or take a dump.
Go to the restroom. We'll be right back.
The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man. No, I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AfterBuzz TV. And why? Because AfterBuzz TV's like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows, like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AfterBuzz TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AfterBuzz TV goodness. Check them out, give them a holler, and tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you.
All right, we are back, and we are going to do a little news and gossip for everybody.
AfterBuzz TV News.
My favorite part of the show, I think. So we sort of spoke about this last week, but we knew that CBS was gunning hard for ABC to get this show canceled and not airing. Obviously, that is not the case. A judge overruled CBS and allowed ABC to show and air The Glass House because he did not feel that the show was so similar to Big Brother that it shouldn't air. And I know I just read something actually today that CBS gave Entertainment Weekly a list of 12 ways that The Glass House was actually the exact same as Big Brother. Now, after watching this show, I can't, I mean, there are similarities, but I don't think that it's, 50-50 all the same thing. But CBS is still in the process of trying to somehow pursue to get ABC to get this show canceled. Now, I also there's a rumor that ABC came back, or excuse me, that CBS came back and said that they're going to start a new show called, I think it's Dancing. Dancing with the Stars, and it's a mock off of Dancing on the Stars, which is a mock of Dancing with the Stars. So basically, they said it's going to take place at the Hollywood Cemetery on Santa Monica, and it's going to be a mock reality show of stars dancing on top of the graves of other stars. Now, hopefully, that will not take place.
CBS. This is what I need you guys to do. Sit down, relax, have a drink. Relax. Now, again, we said this last week. The View, The Talk. The Talk is the same thing as The View. Their format started off different. It was supposed to be from a parent's perspective. They got rid of Holly Robinson. They got rid of Leah Remini, and now it's nothing but The Talk.
Right.
And they even did a mock of it at the Daytime Emmy Awards.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Just chill and relax, okay? Yeah. Just chill and relax, CBS. You have nothing to worry about with Big Brother because as far as the ratings are concerned, the ratings did not do so well.
No,
it didn't do so well. So the ratings for last week's premiere of The Glass House, it had a 2.9 rating and it had 4.2 million viewers.
Yeah,
which was 700,000 views less than the following week's Castle, which was a rerun. So it's not doing so well as far as the ratings are concerned. So even with that being said, compared to the ratings that Big Brother does, compared to this, I just think that CBS needs to shut up.
Yeah, and to add to that, they actually even said that there was a loss of 700,000 viewers last week from the first half of the show to the second half, which is crazy. I mean, that means that basically people were like, okay, this is not the show for me. Let me turn the channel.
But this show is for a lot of people because there's a lot of people that hit us on Twitter, particularly Adrian at Water Tower Base, who's watching right now. Want to give a shout out to you and some of the other people that's watching. I know you guys like Glass House just as much as we do. So although it's 4.2 million viewers, we are faithful fans, and next week I predict that we're gonna go up a million. We're gonna go 5.2.
I agree. I mean, we love the show, and we just want everybody, tune in. Tell your friends. Everybody tune in.
And so I hope that with all this hoopla with CBS is making, I hope it gives more people the incentive to want to go and watch.
Yeah, and vote.
And vote. And so we pretty much already said that we think that Apollo will go.
I think it'll be Apollo. I think, I think that it's going to be his time.
Okay, and speaking of time, it is definitely our time. But before we go, let's again give our name so that you guys can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Mine is Bamm Ericsen.
I am Derrial Christon. You can Twitter me at Derrial Christon, which is DERRIAL. last name Christon.
All right, so you guys, thank you for watching The Glass House here on AfterBuzz TV for episode number 2. Please tune in next week for episode 3, and we look forward to you. So you guys remember, go to iTunes, please rate and comments, and we will see you guys later.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.